Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a man knocking on your door. A frail old man with a kind smile. Someone you had trust without a second thought. But what if I told you, behind that smile, hid one of the most horrifying monsters in American history? One of the vilest pedophiles, serial child killers, and cannibals of all time. His name was Albert Fish. He was also known as the Grey Man, the Werewolf of Wisteria, the Brooklyn Vampire, the Moon Maniac, and the Boogeyman, the Grey Man. Fish was born on 19 May 1870 in Washington, D.C. to Randall and Alan Fish. His family had a long history of mental illness. His uncle was diagnosed with mania. His brother was sent to a state mental institution, and his sister was diagnosed with a mental affliction. His mother had visual hallucinations. His parents abandoned Fish at a young age, and he was sent to an orphanage, a place of brutality in his memory, where he was exposed to regular beatings and sadistic acts of brutality. It was said that he began to look forward to the abuse because it brought him pleasure. Years of torment twisted young Albert's mind. He began inflicting pain on himself, needles, knives, even the fire. He believed this suffering brought him closer to God, but it was only the beginning of a darker obsession. In 1928, Fish answered an ad from 18-year-old Edward Budd, who was looking for part-time work to help with the family finances. Fish, who disguised himself as Mr. Frank Hogwarts and told the family that he was a Long Island farmer looking to pay a strong young worker for rupees $15 a week. The job seemed idle, and the Budd family, excited by Edward's luck in finding the job, instantly trusted the gentle, polite Mr. Hogwarts. When Fish arrived on 4th of June, he came bearing gifts for all the Budd children and visited with the family over lunch. To the Budds, Mr. Hogwarts seemed like a typical loving grandfather. He then suggested the Budds allow him to take their oldest daughter, 10-year-old Grace, to the party. The unsuspecting parents agreed and dressed her in her Sunday best. Grace, excited about going to a party, left the house. She vanished that day, swallowed by the shadows of a city, unprepared for such evil, and was never seen alive again. On 11th November 1934, almost 6 years later, Mrs. Budd received an anonymous letter giving grotesque details of the murder and the cannibalism of her daughter. The writer informed that he took her to an empty house, stripped her naked, strangled her to death, butchered her body, cooked her flesh, especially the buttocks, and ate her over several days. It took him 9 days to eat her entire body. Tiny hands may have tried to fight back. Tiny legs may have tried to run. They must have screamed, cried, begged to be saved, but their voices bounced off cold walls, heard by no one except the monster who tore them apart, piece by piece, then sat down to eat them. Detective William King, assigned to the Budd case, soon found himself entangled in a nightmare. Each lead seemed to branch into more questions, each clue more disturbing than the last. Tracing the letter eventually led detective to a flop house where Fish was living. Fish was arrested and immediately confessed to killing Grace and other children. Fish, smiling as he described the grisly details of tortures and murders, appeared to the detectives as the devil himself. Some were lurked with candy, others with promises of work or kindness. But what awaited them was a fate so horrific, even the devil would turn away in shame. A psychiatrist examined Fish. He stated that he was obsessed with sadomasochism. He had his own children hit him with a paint stirrer and a hairbrush. They also witnessed him hitting himself with a paddle studded with nails. He inserted sewing needles into his body. Nearly 30 needles were found in his groin area after he told a psychiatrist they were there. Fish also ate his own excrement and burned himself with hot irons and pokers. Fish was obsessed with cannibalism. On 11th of March 1935, Fish's trial began and he pleaded innocent by reason of insanity. As the chair was strapped to his frail body, Fish smiled. His final words sent shivers down everyone's spine. It will be the supreme thrill, the only one I have not tried. 2 jolts later, he was gone, but the terror he unleashed lives on. He said voices in his head told him to kill the children and commit other horrendous crimes. Despite the numerous psychiatrists who described Fish as insane, the jury found him sane and guilty after a 10-day trial. He was sentenced to die by electrocution. On 16th of January 1936, Fish was electrocuted at Sing Sing Prison, New York. Reportedly a process Fish looked upon as the ultimate sexual thrill, though later that assessment was dismissed as a rumor. Albert Fish was not a myth, not a ghost story whispered to scare the children. He was real and he was terrifying. Tonight, as you sit alone, remember, some monsters don't hide in shadows. Albert Fish molested many children, including Francis McDonnell, a 8-year-old boy abducted from Staten Island who was found hanging from a tree with signs of sexual assault and strangulation. Witnesses described a grey man with a drooping mustache. The other child said, "The boogeyman took Billy." Fish later wrote in a letter that he tortured and cannibalized Billy, describing the grotesque details of how he cut, cooked, and ate the parts of his body. Beneath that pale light, one truth endures. Some monsters are no myths, and some fears are simply too real. Sometimes they knock on your door with a gentle smile. To listen to more thrilling stories, subscribe to Riyanshu Ujjwal Podcast on Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, and all major platforms.